Welcome to the HR Happy Hour Work Break. I am back with Madeline Laurano today. Madeline, how are you?
Hi, Steve. Thanks for having me back.
Great to have you back. This is like a semi-regular gig for you now. I like it. I know. We know now whenever I check out and disappear, we have a natural replacement. So I'm sure the show will improve. Yeah, so great. It's been a few days since we chatted, but it's fun. I like this actually, Madeline. We go too long without talking, right? So it's good. Although we seem to only talk when we're doing a show, but still nice to catch up with you again. So quickly, one thing I did want to mention, or actually I'd like you to talk about it because I'm excited about it, but you've got a new podcast dropping tomorrow morning on the HR Happy Hour Podcast Network. Maybe you could tell us a little bit about that one.
Absolutely. So I'm doing a podcast. I did a podcast and it's broadcasting tomorrow with Jeanette Leeds Meister, and she is the head of Americas for Olio. And she's awesome. If you probably met her in person, anyone that's met her, she's just an amazing, intelligent, and successful business leader. She's worked on most companies on Wall Street, Lehman Brothers and other companies, and now she's running Americas for Olio. And we talked a lot about automation. We talk about which is recruiting enablement, which is basically like sales enablement. So you're giving all the tools to recruiters to be successful. And it's every company has a sales enablement practice, but we don't do that for recruiting. It's the same principles.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I don't think I've ever even heard that. I've not heard of recruiting enablement, but it does make sense. It makes sense to have enablement in general, like if something is really important to your business. Yeah, that's cool. And so that drops tomorrow on the HR Happy Hour Podcast Network. So if you follow our feed, that's anywhere you get your podcast, blah, 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 just search for HR Happy Hour, and we'll be promoting that as well. But I definitely want to mention that. That's cool. I did something cool today, like a work thing.
Cool.
So I like how the show's the work break. So the first part of the show is kind of work, and then the second part's kind of the break. But I just had a demo with our friends at Fuel 50, who you're familiar with, but they've been around for a number of years. They have a great talent management, talent enablement. Speaking of enablement, kind of internal mobility platform, and they've been around for a few years, and they always had one of the most kind of interesting and different kind of interfaces and the experiences. They very innovative, very cool, very kind of thought forward. I just had a demo with them, which was great as part of we're still prepping for the top HR products process at HR Executive. But the only reason I bring it up too is like every call these days, every conference call, every Zoom call, right? Especially if you haven't talked to someone in a little while, they start with the whole back and forth of pleasantries and a bit about, hey, are you doing okay? How's your family? You keeping safe? And all that, which is fine. I'm not complaining about it. So that's how our call started. And Jo is so, nice and polite. She asked me, oh, how are you doing? How are things with you? And I'm like, oh, it's awful. I live in the southern US and everything's closed. And, we're still not figuring this out, blah, blah, blah. So then I asked her, well, how are you? And I wasn't completely sure actually physically where she was in the world. I said, well, how are things going with you? And she goes, oh, it's great. I'm in New Zealand. Everything's fine. Yeah, she didn't say it that cavalierly, but she goes, yeah, it's back to normal here. It's just normal. Everything's normal. Yeah, we've managed to build like a bubble around the island, and there's just no coronavirus there. And, they had their lockdown, and I'm thinking, how do I get myself to New Zealand? And she's like, nah, you're probably not coming here.
She doesn't want us going there. I think that's what.
I don't blame them. If you had that bubble around you where everything was safe and normal,
they're a great use case. I mean, I think they've been kind of the model, the example of a country that has been very successful, lockdown, quarantining, and now opening back up successfully.
Yeah, so great, good on them, and thanks for taking time. And I didn't realize this. We set up the demo, and I'm so oblivious, and I'm so like American centric. I had no idea what time it was in New Zealand, and she put me on mute for a second. I'm like, Jo, I can't hear you, and I hope I'm not embarrassing her, but then she comes back and she goes, oh, I just took a big sip of coffee. It's like 6:30 in the morning here. I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't realize.
Well, 6:30 is better than 4:30. I feel like much worse.
So last time on the show, you and I we talked about the gym a little bit and working out and exercising. So my gym update is my gym is still closed, and it's probably never opening, and I'm probably never going back. But one of the things I try to do to try to help my sort of health, keep fit, and et cetera, is I'll read like fitness magazines or online versions of them anyway. And so I have Men's Health in my feed reader. I still use a feed reader, like the old Google Reader thing. And so you just see the headlines, right? And I was looking at it the other day, or maybe it was over the weekend, and Men's Health is like got one of these headlines every day, and it reads something along the lines of, watch what happened to this guy when he went on a vegan diet and ran 5 miles every day and did 400 burpees every day. Watch his body transformation in 60 days or something like that. And it's like, you know, an average guy who turns into some just Adonis, right, in 60 days. And I hate those headlines. I just hate them.
I hate it.
Because here's what I want the realistic headline to be that maybe I could adopt. I want it to be something like, watch what happens to this middle-aged guy who went from full Budweiser to Bud Light for 9 months and he lost 3 pounds. Like, that's the transformation.
Right. That's what I know.
I feel so
I want the same thing. Or somebody that goes to bed at 11 p.m. versus midnight and see the transformation. That's like, I need the baby steps. But the thing that turned me off so much are the pressure that people put on people during quarantine. I'm sure you've seen all those tweets out there where, you know, I built a new deck, I lost 20 pounds, I now play the guitar and the drums, I speak French. I learned violin, I read, you know, the Remembrance of Things Past, like 30,000 pages. Those people are awful. Well, did you see Denzel Washington? This was very funny, actually.
I did not. So tell me about that.
He tweeted out something, this was probably a few weeks ago, and he said, and I love Denzel Washington, he said, for any of you out there that are feeling guilty that you didn't learn a new skill, learn a new instrument, learn a new language, lose 20 pounds during quarantine, I have good news for you. Get back inside. It's not over.
Oh, that's funny.
It was very funny.
I also think it's a generational thing too. And I think about those accomplishments. I probably have told this joke before, but I'll tell it again. Like when my father, when he was say 25 years old, 26 years old, by the time he reached that age, he graduated college, fought for his country in a war for like a couple of years, got married, had 2 kids, bought his first house, and had his first, you know, corporate job, like by age 26.
Amazing.
And I thought about like, what did I accomplish by the age of 26? And the biggest thing I could point to that my number one was, at the time anyway, I'd seen all 5 of the Planet of the Apes movies and felt really good about that.
That's more than me. I don't think I've even seen one. So
you're probably better off. So I heard you have something you want to show us. Let's see. Let's talk about that.
So I brought a little something for you here, Steve, and you actually coordinated with my idea for today. So I brought, because you talked about, first of all, we talked about BU.
Yes.
And we talked about you doing the 5K in your, you know,
Gamecock 5K, right, for the alumni thing.
And you had to wear the jersey, right? So I brought my BU Hockey Go Terriers.
Woo, I love it.
Massive hockey shirt here.
That is awesome. And
that's your BU hat.
You know what? And this is great about the show. We did not talk before the show for more than 30 seconds, and it was more about lighting and microphones. But yes, I'm wearing my BU hat today. And you've got your BU shirt. Go BU.
I have the BU shirt. I was going to wear it, but then it's really big and it looked a little unprofessional. So without the... No, you look professional.
As I'm wearing my Mr. Met t-shirt and my BU hat. And I'm wearing the hat because I haven't done like the pandemic haircut in a while, and I need to take care of that soon. So I've got to work that out. But yeah, BU. So it's I'm still waiting my figuring out whether or not I'm coming back up to BU or not. But we'll see. Eventually I will, but I'm not sure if I'm coming up in this fall or not. It's such a mess.
Is Patrick still a go? I mean, they still
last I heard, it's still a go, but they're working on staggering the move-ins. You know how normal college move-in is. Here's the weekend, and it's a free-for-all, right? And they don't want that free-for-all to happen, I guess, which makes sense. But we'll see. But I know I got the bill in the email, so I guess I can refuse to pay it, and then maybe all bets are off. But it's been a really. Yeah, I know. But I love that though. So and BU though, BU's in the Patriot League, that's the sport they compete in, and they decided they're not going to do sports in the fall. at all. And I do think one of the sad kind of outcomes of this is well, it's not, relatively speaking, it's not that sad compared to all the people who are suffering and
Right.
become ill, but the college experience is going to change a lot. College sports, for the large part, probably won't happen, at least not anytime soon. And we'll see what happens with the pro sports. They're trying to start up, but it's going to be crazy. And
the NHL, they're practicing. The Bruins here are practicing every day, and they're hopeful, but we'll see. And I know, the players are really concerned, just like they are in baseball and football about that.
I love it. I love the BU stuff, though, Madeline. Proud alum. It's great. It's good to have that contact. If I get back up there, I'll give you a call. Are you allowed to go out in Boston? Like, can you go get a beer? Or is that a thing that can happen in Boston?
You can go out. They're inside and outside are open, but there's a lot of places that have transformed, so they have outdoor seating. You can get drinks outside, and that's, it's beautiful out. So it's comfortable to be outside.
That'd be awesome. All right. I think this is great. So podcast tomorrow on Radical Research. Right. Look for that on the feed. And I think I'll go fire up my DVR and maybe try to get to the next generation Planet of the Apes movies. And
and one thing, Steve, I did since we talked last week about Michelle Obama is I watched Becoming on Netflix.
Oh, really? Okay.
Amazing. There's so much that she shared when we saw her speak in Vegas that is in the book and is in the documentary, but there's so much more too. So it was awesome. It's worth it.
Recommend? All right. Recommend Becoming on Netflix. We'll get that out as well. So, all right. It's good. Good day. Good work break. It's fun. Thank you, Madeline, for joining me again. Let's make this a more regular thing, right? We'll do that.
Friday.
Oh, we're back together on Friday? Oh, I love it. All right, Friday show, we need to have fun. We may need to do a slight bit of pre-planning for a Friday show. Let's think about that. All right.
And pre-drinking, maybe pre-drinking.
I think so. I've done a couple of drink introductions on this show on a Friday. I haven't done that in a while, so I'm inspired by that.
All right, I'll come prepared.
Meet us back here. We'll be back here tomorrow too, and on Friday as well. So thanks everybody for checking out the work break. And that's it. We'll see you next time. Thanks, Madeline.
Bye, Steve. Bye, everyone.